Once you have all your pieces cut out and let them slightly stiffen, you're ready to assemble the walls of your house and kind of attach them to the base. Okay, so if you use the templates, you should have two sides that look like this. You should have two end caps that look like this, and then you should have your base. Okay, now if you altered your design, that is more than fine, but essentially you should have, if you're doing something that's box-like, you should have, you know, opposite sides matching each other, etc. The other thing I have, in addition to my clay tools, is I have a whole bunch of strips of clay. So this was kind of the leftover clay that I just took a needle tool and cut it into strips. You could also cut it using a loop tool. It does not really matter the length of these. You can piece these together to make them fit in certain places. We're going to use these to strengthen each of the seams of our house. So think where the walls come together, okay? Don't bring this to me and be like, this doesn't fit this long side over here. You can, you know, hook a couple small pieces together, you can cut down a larger one, etc. Okay, this will become clear in just a moment. Now, the way that I have done this so far is I have attached an end cap. So let me just share this. Hopefully this won't fall apart as I hold it up. I have attached a side to an end cap to the base. Okay, so I have done this kind of in an L shape. In just a moment, I'm going to do the other L shape. Okay, I think this is the easiest way to assemble a box-like structure. And obviously not everybody is doing a box-like structure, all right? So I am going to move this out of the way in just a sec. The one thing I wanted to show you all before we get started is when you are assembling something that is box-like, or even if it's your own design, what I want you to do is start with the end cap, okay? Let me move this. Start with the end cap. And you are going to, all right, attach your walls. Let me zoom you all in so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. So start with the end cap, and then you are going to score, slip, and smooth your wall piece to the inside. Okay, the inside of this like so. All right. If you put this toward the outside, okay, see how this is outside of this edge here. Okay, it's going to create a little gap in your roof line like so. So I am going to score on both sides of the inside of my end cap and attach this wall right here. Okay, so instead of attaching it outside like this, I'm going to attach it inside like this. Okay, I'll probably pause the video here for you guys to just, you know, kind of wrap your heads around it. All right, so with the end cap, you'll see me, I'm actually going to take my fork. I think scoring for something like this, when you're trying to build, it's easier to score with your fork, okay? So see how for the end cap, I scored on the inside sidelines here, okay? I'm also going to score on this bottom section as well, okay? But I'm going to attach the walls from the inside rather than this outside section here. So I'm going to attach here rather than here, okay? That'll just make the roof fit a little bit better. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, let me move this out of the way. On my side, okay, I'm going to go ahead and score the edge of the shorter side. I'm also going to score the end or the edge of the longer side. All right. Now at this point, what I'm going to go ahead and do is probably use a yellow brush, add a little bit of water to anything that is scored. I got a little too much water there. I was a little overzealous. Okay, now at this point in time, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to join this edge to the inside edge of the end cap. On the outside, I'm going to smooth over the seam. Maybe all over. Okay. On this inside part here, I am actually going to score, slip, and smooth what I'm calling a support coil. Okay. So a support coil is something that looks like this. Okay. It's a strip of clay. Again, it doesn't matter what the length is. All right. And I'm going to create some scratch marks right on the inside here. What this will do is it will strengthen the seam. And make sure that as you are sculpting the facade of your house, okay, so whether you're doing like wood or brick or, I don't know, stone or something, when you're working on the outside, that this seam doesn't bust apart, okay? So I'm gonna press the support coil here, okay? Again, you can piece a couple small pieces together, that's fine. I have extra here, I'll just kind of smush it off, all right? And because it's on the inside, I don't necessarily have to make it look pretty, but I am going to smooth it over the seam. Okay. And right now that's actually chilling really without me holding it or doing anything, largely because of that support coil. Okay. Just to give you a heads up, this is what it looks like on the outside. Okay. So the outside, you can see how it's joined to my roofline thing right on the inside rather than the outside. Okay. Now at this point in time, I am going to make sure that this bottom section is scored. So the bottom of my L is scored. I'm going to set that aside for just a moment. I'm going to bring back the other part of my house I already did. Okay. So I already have this assembled for you all. But at this point in time, I'm going to decide, you would decide where on your base you want to put your house, okay, or your structure. So if you're going to build a yard, you may want to think how you position this on your base, okay? So I'm going to create score marks where I'm going to attach my L. I'm also going to create score marks on the inside of my end cap and on the outside of this wall right here on this edge. Okay, so I have it looking like this. Okay, so the edge, right where I'm going to attach my L, and the inside of that end cap. Okay, I'm also going to add a smidge of water. I don't know why I don't have a clay brush here. Use anything that's yellow. Yellow is fine. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do before I attach it is just make sure that I have everything scored where I need it to be. Okay, so I forgot on my L to create score marks on this one section. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do at this point in time is I am going to attach my 1L, okay, to my base right there. Okay, so I have something that will, sorry y'all, technical difficulties. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this like so, right. Oh, let me zoom you all out real quick. Okay, so before I start talking about support coils, what I want to do real quick, and I think you guys have a good view of this, is I want to make sure that my my walls here are on the inside of my end cap. Okay, so right now my walls are on the inside of my end cap. I have scored everything. I've added my little bits of water, okay? And now I'm going to, in just a moment, attach my support coils on the inside, okay? So basically anywhere where stuff comes together, I am going to go ahead and attach a support coil. So think where the wall meets your base, you are going to attach a support coil. So it looks like I have my score marks everywhere. Real quick, I'm going to add the score marks to my support coil. I'm going to add a smidge of water. Okay, and then I'm basically just going to press it to that spot where things come together. When I press it on the inside, I'm supporting with my hand on the outside. And remember, it doesn't really matter too much what it looks like on the inside. Most students aren't doing anything with the inside of their house. It's more you just see the outside. So support coil here. Okay. Now the other places where I'm going to need a support coil is the inside bottom. Okay, because I don't want to put pressure on the outside and then have it cave in there. Okay. So support coil inside bottom. Gonna actually break this apart. And again, if I'm pressing it where those two side in the wall, side and the base come together, see how I'm holding it on the outside. Okay. This is particularly important if your clay is very smushy. All right. And then last section here, I'm going to break this apart. So you can see how with your support coil, you can break it off where necessary. Okay. Again, if I am pressing on the inside, I have to support on the outside. There we go. Okay. Now, right now, what I would do, just because this is me, I would kind of use one of my clay tools and just have my one hand like this, pressing with my clay tool on the inside all the way around. Okay, just making it blend in a little bit more. Okay, let me share with you what it looks like currently on the outside. So on the outside, I do have to work some of these sections. Okay, so this is what it looks like on my outside. So I'll kind of prop it up like so. All right, on the outside, I have to address this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to take my clay tool and very gently work that seam. I have to smooth that clay over the seam. If I don't do that, it will pull apart when I dry and fire it. Okay, also all along here, small baby bite marks. Okay, pull that clay over the seam like so. Then you can smooth it out with your finger or your clay brush. Okay, I'm supporting inside while I'm pressing on the outside. And I would do this all the way around. Okay, I'll do one more side and then I'm not going to bore you with the rest. All right. So you can see the seam still exists here on the outside. It's up to you to pull that clay over the seam. All right, so this is what it looks like sort of all the way around. Okay, obviously the outside you need to smooth that clay over the seam, make sure it looks all nice and pretty. The inside, just make sure you have support coils anywhere where things come together, okay? I would smooth clay over the seam just a little bit more so that they, each of the joints are entirely attached. Also, remember, whatever your end cap happens to be, make sure you put your walls on the inside of that rather than the outside. It'll make your roof fit a little bit better. And last but not least, please remember to score, slip, and smooth your clay, okay? The kiln does not lie. If you have not done that, stuff will pull apart, okay, when I am drying and firing.